Hello, welcome to the narrative for Worthwhile Studio. This is for ENT 650, which is Advanced Entrepreneurial Finance, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I've put together my financial reports. And what I was realizing as I was going forward was that my financial reports were not reflective of the story that I've previously told about Worthwhile Studio. So a lot of times when I go through the projects, I am talking about kind of the grown-up version of Worthwhile Studio, and I'd like my financial reports to reflect more of the organic growth that I see happening for Worthwhile Studio. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. By the way, this is my logo, the fox. What time is it, Mr. Fox? It's time to create. And here we have the little hub that I see that encompasses all of kind of the working aspects of Worthwhile Studio. And Worthwhile Studio has always been about getting back into being a working artist. So I worked as a waitress for 15 years. I worked as a massage therapist for 10. All of those years, always creating art, but never really dedicating my life to being an artist. And I feel like art is my calling. Teaching art, being part of the creative process, is really about engaging people and helping them to live life a lot more presently. And so I feel like working as an artist is part of the genuine reason behind Worthwhile Studio. So to begin with, my financial reports are simply talking about my own studio practice, getting a one-person studio, and beginning to work, because I don't know that much more of this can start going forward until I have my own work and have reestablished myself as a working artist, professional full-time. So working artist studio for myself is kind of top on the list. Next up would be this kind of idea of paint and pour style classes, and then private and small group art classes. I do a lot of this already, not every week, maybe 2 a month, maybe less. It just depends. I haven't pushed a lot just yet, but the paint and pour style classes are kind of the classic thing that you see where you bring wine and allow people to paint while having drinks. And then also private and small group art. I've done a lot at a local wine shop. So I'm including this in my startup because I also think of it as being a market research for some of these other kind of more extensive and more expensive classes that would happen in the workshop and master classes. So the first 5 or 6 months of Worthwhile Studio Financials are talking about this paint and pour style and private and small group art classes. And then also another little wing of it is this arts business consulting. I have a keen interest in helping other artists, whether emerging or already working, to help them develop their own art business. So I know lots of artists, and lots of them are out there, makers as well. I was in the maker community for 3 years with my Heartfelt Flowers business. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that want to make money as a creative person, but don't always have the necessary skills. And since I'm gaining those here in this master's degree, I tend to think of myself as being able to help some of these people push past little boundaries that they've created in their business and become more profitable as artists and makers. And eventually I'd like to do that online, but currently it would be in person. And then again, where our workshops and master classes is also going to be on my financial reports. Again, thinking about these paint and pour style classes, informing what kind of classes would be well received for the workshops and master classes, and even the online courses. So my first year we have in the financial reports we have the workshops and master classes, and the second year I'm adding in the online courses, and that's in addition to these paint and pour style classes, arts business consulting, and my own studio practice. And so in like a 3 to 5 year time frame, I'd like to see myself grow out of my working studio and into a larger studio where I can invite maybe some emerging artists, or even perhaps a couple established artists who might be interested in teaching. So we'd have a larger working studio with 3 to 5 other working artists, and hopefully a gallery space as well. So that's kind of the grown-up plan, is when all of this is up and working. The first 2 years being kind of the working studio for myself, arts business consulting, paint and pour style classes, and then the workshops, master classes, adding in online courses by the second year. And then I'd just like to talk a little bit about how I see the large picture of Worthwhile Studio looking in the community once it's all kind of up and running. I'd like to see Worthwhile Studio stand as a creative hub for working artists. I'd like it to showcase local and regional talent. I'd like the studio to create an inspiring, supportive environment for emerging artists. I think they need that when they're just getting out of school or just getting started in creating their bodies of work that, you know, are going to eventually go into galleries. I'd like to build a community of quality instructors and unique course offerings. I think people are just dying to, you know, exercise their creative skills, and they want to have course offerings that are exciting and unique. I'd lastly like to help professional artists build their arts-based businesses, integrate the studio and its events into this already existing creative tourism economy that we have here in Brevard. We have a lot of cyclists, we have a lot of outdoor nature enthusiasm for Pisgah National Forest, for DuPont State Forest. There's a lot to do in this area, and even camps. There's over 14 camps just here in our county, and that's the surrounding counties have probably twice that. So there's a lot of people that come here through the summer. And then promoting creative entrepreneurship and community support for artists. We have a gallery walk, we have an Arts in March kind of festival thing that we do, but I think having a hub for people to come and be artists and to see other artists working would really offer a lot of support for local artists in this area. So I hope that covers what you need to know about Worthwhile Studio and how I'm going to build my financial reports around kind of the first couple of phases of Worthwhile Studio. So thank you for watching.